So we have this border now.
We hello, we have a border now. You remember us from such shows as We Don't Have a Border Yet. And why the hell are they forcing us to have a border?
Yeah.
Lord, if I only knew.
Oh my goodness.
Lord, if I only knew.
Do you remember when television made the transition from analog to digital, and they were changing the shape of the TV screen, and shows like?
Do I remember?
No, this is in your lifetime.
This guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some shows like Jon Stewart, I remember on Comedy Central.
Yeah.
They had to invent borders.
Oh, yeah. Because of yes, yeah.
They hadn't yet figured out the new ratio.
You know, the new ratio. It's a trip to look back and see how things were squished or widened. You've always been very annoyed by squishing and widening, though.
Absolutely.
That is something that angers you greatly.
Letterboxing.
Yes, not a fan.
Not letterboxing.
Not a fan. And with new technology, we're saying this because we use something called Restream to stream to you all. And they've just added a bunch of new stuff that no one needs or cares about. And it's the sort of thing you're looking going, I don't need these things. I don't need them all. Oh, hi, Logan. I'm so glad you're here. My dad and I recorded a new episode of our podcast the other day, and Logan can be heard throughout singing. We've never had, I call Logan our awoo dog. We've never had a dog that is so talkative. Logan is a talker, and it always makes me laugh. Because
so is your daughter.
That's true. Oh, hi, Mabel. And then Mabel comes up to say, hi, Bill. Yes, Logan, you're very important. Don't worry. You're a very important puppy. Larry says, hi, Leonard and Jesse from the birthplace of Dorothy Gish. Yes, indeed. Never a bad time to celebrate.
Right. Who would dispute it?
That's right. I'd like to see someone. I would not. I would not like to see
full-framed Maltins. Well, thank you very much.
When I describe us, I often say full-framed Maltins.
But it's so funny because watching Turner Classic Movies now, and even Fox Movie Channel, FXM, and some of the others, they all show widescreen films with letterbox.
Yeah.
If they don't,
Yeah, they have. Well, you make it work.
Yeah.
You have what you have. You make it work.
But it was such a fight. I did several stories at Entertainment Tonight. And my favorite one was but the one that seemed to sell the idea was showing a clip from It's a Mad, 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 Mad World with the 1.5 Stooges. They panned and scanned the film. And
dear.
All they could get on the screen.
Don't cut out a stooge. Leonard will be so sad. Hi, Ryan. It's good to see you too. Myth Duster says, I enjoy your podcast. Thank you for that. Victoria says, dogs only add enhancement. God, I hope so, because they don't ask to be in it. They're just a part of it.
We're counting on that.
I was misinformed. Pillow, is that a quote from something? Yes, it's from Casablanca. It's my dad's favorite movie.
And it was issued by the Warner
Brothers store, which will
they also
always...
did What a Dump.
I think that we may reference the Warner Brothers store more than anyone else.
There's no context.
I think that if we were going to be somewhere in the Guinness Book of Records, it would be there. Kevin's saying that he really enjoyed the new Spike Lee movie,
which is on my list of things to see.
Well, so last night, yes, rest in peace, Terrence Stamp. It makes me so sad, and I really
have to tell you. I got an assignment one day from Entertainment Tonight to go to the Chateau Marmont to interview Terrence Stamp, who was promoting a direct-to-video movie. It wasn't bad. A modest film.
Yeah.
And I said to him, it was on my mind, I said, that I don't mean this to be, obnoxious or annoying in any way, but when I heard your name, when their name first, the immediate image I had in my head was Billy Budd, which was his first movie decades earlier.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh no," he says, "that film is so special to me."
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I got to make it, they chose me, that I got to work with Peter Ustinov, who directed and starred in it. So he was not insulted at all.
No, no.
That even after all that time.
I think Terrence Stamp and Malcolm McDowell are quite similar, not just in the way they look, but just also sort of the roles they play, but more importantly, the joy. They both, and now unfortunately I have to say only one, but they both love working. And one of the things that I think keeps you working, especially as you get older, and someone like Terrence Stamp, is that he had fun. And he said yes to things that were silly. He said yes to things that another actor may go, I did Shakespeare in the blah, blah, blah. He didn't. He said, I like working. I like being in movies. And so to me, that says a lot. Somebody who wants to be there and loves what they're doing.
Yeah.
And what you just said is sort of the perfect example of that, which he could go, yeah, it's my first film. But no, that's how people know you. And it's a big deal. It's like I always say, when a one-hit wonder doesn't like that one hit, and you want to go, yeah, but one hit, it means you had a hit. That's more than a lot of people can ever say. Rob is asking us about Sound of Music. And I will tell you that Daisy, I've been showing her some scenes from it. And she, of course, loves the marionette scene, the yodeling song. So we sing that a lot.
The Lonely Goat Herd.
That's right. We sing that one a lot. And she's a huge, huge, huge fan. Greetings, Leonard and Jessica. Looks like the Rainbow Bright look is in. Have either of you reviewed or seen And the Star Stealer? If so, what did you think of it?
Nope.
I've had rainbow hair for a long time, which is always funny for me because I'm used to it. And then I forget that not everyone else is. Because I'd say that everyone that knows me is sort of, it just is there. It doesn't tend to come up very much. It's just what's there. Though I was saying to my parents.
As I teased Jessie for years, she is a genuine California blue-eyed blonde.
I have blonde hair.
Which many aspire to be.
Yes.
And many have profited from being.
And I dye it out.
Yeah.
And I like being rainbow better. What is the significance of the poster behind you, Jessie? Are you talking about this one here? Or are you looking at the puzzle?
Well, let's identify both.
The puzzle is Tom Mix. And it says here, Tom Mix and his new horse, Tony Jr. in Universal Pictures. And it's a puzzle that my dad framed. This one behind me is really cool. It says Seeing Stars by Feg Murray. I was going to say Fred Murray. Yeah. By Feg Murray.
And it's signed by Feg Murray. Autographed, I should say, too.
And it's really neat. It's
an original pen and ink. It's an original pen and ink of what was a full color.
If you're watching on Instagram, we're talking about this one right now.
In Sunday comic section for many, many years.
I can turn you guys a little bit too if you want to see it better. We're talking about this one. So yeah, as I say, my dad has so much cool stuff, and it's it's funny. People ask me if I know what everything is, and I said I don't think there's enough time to ever find out what everything is in this house. I can know you for the rest of my life,
and you will,
and I will, and I will never know what all of this stuff is in the house. It's just not possible. The Angel Studios movie sketch was really good.
I beg to differ. In my opinion, that's all it is, an opinion. Tony Hale stars in this movie. He's also one of the producers. And I got a very persuasive email from a publicist working on the film. And I said, let's give this a try. And it didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, a heartfelt film about a young widower played by Tony Hale, raising two youngish children who imagine monsters, and only they're not imaginary. So anyway.
Which is an interesting conversation. So we had a big week this week for several reasons. The first being Daisy went back to school. Oh, is that a happy kid? She is so happy to be back with her friends, and it makes me smile. She is so happy to be back with her teacher, so happy to be back with her friends. And that's wonderful for all of us. because a happy Daisy is a happy us.
Yep.
The other part is that she watched her first movie in full. We watched Cinderella together, the original, and the animated original, I should say, the Disney animated original. And she watched the whole thing. And this morning she asked to watch it again. And she's doing it. She really, but part of what's so interesting, of course, is having a conversation with her as we're watching. And she's saying to me, is this real? Is that real? Are they real? She wants to know if Jacques and Gus Gus are real. She wants to know all the different things. And it's really interesting talking to her. She's saying, why, this morning, she said, why is the stepmom mean? Why are the sisters mean? And I said, well, they weren't taught to be nice. And it's really important to be nice, right? She said, yeah. I said, that's why we're kind to people, right? She said, yeah. She said, maybe if we can be kind to them, they'll be kind to Cinderella. And I was like, yeah, that's right. That's totally right. It was really sweet. But again, like hearing things through a kid's eyes is, say hearing, but it's true. Hearing it through them is really interesting. What is she responding to? What's scary?
Right.
All of that. So that was a very big deal. The next big deal is Daisy had her second ever nightmare. And again, I bring these things up because because we live together, we are living through all these things together.
It's a work in progress and
it's living with a science experiment.
Exactly,
I say it over and over again. It's living with a science experiment.
Especially since we're keenly interested to see how she perceives movies.
Yeah. And everything.
And everything else,
yeah.
Of course. Real life.
Yeah.
But movie-wise, it's interesting professionally.
Yeah. And as I say, seeing sort of how she responds and what is frightening to her. We watched a little bit of Little Mermaid because she really likes Ariel. And I felt it then, and I still feel it now. A lot of it is very scary. A lot of kids' movies are very scary. And there's multiple scenes towards the beginning when the ship crashes. She's saying to me, Mommy, are they all going to be okay? Well, thankfully, they actually are. So I didn't have to lie on that one. And I was like, no, they're all going to be okay. And then Ariel's going to make sure that Prince Eric gets to the beach, things like that. And it's just like she's processing and then she's asking questions. And it just absolutely fascinates me. It absolutely fascinates me.
Do you remember how we tried to talk you through Beethoven?
Yeah, it didn't work. I can't watch any kind of dog. I'm too sensitive. I'm sensitive in general, but yeah, with movie and animals. Yes, Aiden, I agree with you. Aiden says Eileen Wood was the ideal choice for Wood. Sorry, well, he said Wood. For the voice of Cinderella. She was from New England, like me. Well, there you go. We were talking about this the other day.
Yeah,
her voice is perfect. Perfect in singing. Perfect in speaking. It is. It's the princess voice that you think of. I don't think it gets much better than that.
No. It's a pure, and effortless, and because she also did the speaking voice.
Yes, it flows well.
It flows well.
Well, that's the scene where the evil stepsisters are going, "Sing, sweet nightingale," and it cuts over to this beautiful "Sing, sweet nightingale," and you go, "Oh, that's like warm butter." It's perfect. Anyway, yeah, as I say, it's a wild thing. Oh, you're asking what her nightmare was. The first nightmare she had was bees. She said there were bees everywhere. This time it was snakes. To which I said to my husband, we've never shown her Indiana Jones. What's going on? Why is she panicking about snakes? Daisy is 3 and more than 3.5. She'll be 4 in October, end of October. So we'll see. We'll see what she wants to watch next. But again, it's, as I say, having heard the stories from my parents my whole life about what I watched, how I watched, what interested me, what didn't, to then be living it again and living it with them here is a trip, Yeah.
Well, it's also because here I guess a lot of places now, she encounters them not just in the movie.
Yeah.
She encounters them in the merchandise.
Yeah.
Encounters them when they go to the store.
Yeah.
Oh, look, there's a box of cereal.
Yeah. Well, because that was her first time watching Cinderella, she started looking around and realizing how much Cinderella stuff we have. Cinderella's my favorite, and I have a lot of carriages. I have a lot of her stuff. I love Jacques. I have Jacques and Gus Gus tattooed on my arm right here. So it's just really, it's wild because she went, oh, that's from Cinderella. Yeah, yes, it is, Days. It is. Yeah, you're recognizing it. I will say the first thing she ever recognized and put together was Grandpa's watch.
Oh yeah,
She was looking at Grandpa's watch, and Grandpa has Mickey Mouse on his watch, and Daisy looks at it and she goes, Mickey Mouse. And the look of pride on this man's face was like, yes, Daisy, it is. It's Mickey Mouse. Anyway, I'll stop momming at you. It's just fascinating. It's just fascinating to spend so much time with someone, watching them see the world. But then, as my dad said, because it's our profession as well, to see the world and see what appeals and what makes sense to them and what they like.
Yeah.
You know, it's fascinating.
In terms of Walt Disney's films being scary, they are.
They are scary.
Scary, and they touch emotional chords. I mean, I can't watch Baby Mine.
Oh, please. Dumbo's too upsetting for me in general. Yeah. I can't watch Dumbo in general. It makes me too upset. But they're too fascinating to see which movies kids are into and which ones work for them and what they do and do not find scary.
But at the time that he was promoting Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, his first feature, before it had opened, he was asked about, is this for children? Is it only for children?
Yeah.
And he was pretty well spoken about not making these films for children.
Yeah.
They're for audiences of all kinds and all ages. And as far as the dark parts of the stories, how can you have light if you don't have dark?
Yeah.
And that was always his philosophy.
Yeah.
And I mean, you tell that to a kid watching Old Yeller or Bambi.
Not me. Not this guy. No, no, thank you.
But it's true. And, you know, in It's a Wonderful Life, why is that film in particular of Frank Capra's so widely and warmly embraced? It's because you go with the hero, the protagonist, Jimmy Stewart, to the deepest.
Yeah.
The darkest moment of his life, when he's considered ending his life. What could be more, distressing than that?
Yeah.
And so he earns his happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's cool seeing you guys are talking about sort of how your reactions and what you remember. Mickey's Christmas Carol scared me, specifically Pete as the ghost of Christmas Future. Well, again, Christmas Carol is frightening. The story of A Christmas Carol is scary. And every version I've seen of it, even when it's jokey, it's still upsetting. It's supposed to be. The whole point is it's supposed to be upsetting.
That's right.
And it is. I can't do it. Nick is saying Gus and Jacques. 1 second. Gus and Jacques made a guest appearance in the Mickey Mouse comic strip when the film debuted. They also later became regulars in the Grandma Ducks comics. I love it. The thing I have with Dumbo for me is it's just a really sad story. The whole thing is sad. And I don't like being sad. I'll be honest, just don't like being sad. And yes, the whole thing being taken away from the mother, it's like, oh, just shoot me.
You're reminding me of a cartoon from the Van Buren Studios in the 30s called Sunshine Makers, which I saw endlessly as a child watching local television. And it's about these elf-like characters who create the sunshine. They generate it. It's like a liquid. And one of them is not named Grumpy, but could be named Grumpy. Says, I don't want to be happy. I want to be sad. This is now from like 7, 8 years old.
It's just in there.
It's just
in there. I get it.
I don't want to be happy.
I don't want to be
sad.
That's so funny. Yes, the part where the mother is mistaken for a mad elephant. Nightmare. Aiden is saying, don't get me started on Snoopy Come Home. They're too emotional. Yeah, it was, as I say, Disney's Tarzan. Again, they're all, and it's true, there's darkness and there's light, and that's the whole point. But man, it's hard. And again, and then you're trying to explain it to a kid. And that's another where do you even begin? You know, as I say, she now continually, when we watch stuff, will say, "Is this real?"
Mm-hmm.
And I'm continually going, "No, it's make believe. It's all make believe. It's okay." But man, yeah, say it's tough. It's really tough. Is Leonard a Club 33 member?
No, but I've been a Club
No.
33 guest.
Yeah, we've been many. We used to go for my birthday when I was growing up. We went almost every year. It didn't used to be as hard to get into as a guest because it wasn't as well known. Now that people are aware of it and that they've redone it, it's become a whole thing. And still, we are very lucky because a lot of our friends are members, so we're able to go when we want to go. But and it is a very special place. It's a very special place for sure.
Well, Jesse's never liked Pinocchio.
Oh no, it's scary. Again, it's frightening. It's frightening. Like these are scary things. As I say, you know, we were having a play date yesterday with one of Daisy's friends, and her mom was talking about all the stuff that they like to they have to fast forward through. They have to fast forward through a ton of stuff. They fast forward. Her daughter's favorite movie is Frozen, and so they have to fast forward through all of this stuff. I was saying we try to watch Little Mermaid. Daisy was scared because there's some very scary parts of that movie. So yeah,
Ursula herself.
Ursula's scary. Yeah, no, I'd say I don't like being scared. I don't like being sad. Just not to say that both of those things don't exist in my life. If I'm going to watch something, I would not like to have those emotions in those moments. You know what I mean? I would rather watch something that makes me laugh or smile. Oh God, Scott and I are watching. I don't know if this show is as funny if you don't know the comedians, but it's called Last One Laughing. There is an American version, but we watched the British version of it. Oh my God, we were watching last night. It's like Daisy's asleep and Scott and I are stifling our laughter. The premise is it's a bunch of comedians put into a room. It looks almost like a Big Brother house type thing. And the idea is to not laugh. You cannot smile or laugh. Okay. And if you do, you get kicked out.
Okay.
So it's all these comedians trying to make each other laugh. And it's just, again, especially British humor, but also all these British comics that we love. Oh my God. It's so deeply funny. So deeply, deeply funny. And the best is in this season, Richard Ayoade, who, if you don't know by name, you might recognize his face. British actor, comedian, host, all kinds of stuff.
Filmmaker too.
Yes. And everybody was like, who's going to be the one that breaks him? Who's going to be the one that breaks him? And that too is really fun to watch all these comedians going, I don't know how we're going to get him. And I just, kills me. A few of you are asking about Superman. Leonard and Alice watched Superman last night.
It was the first time we paid a premium price to watch a new theatrical release at home on a big screen TV. And I didn't care for it. I'm ready to admit, no, I was not sitting in a theater.
Yeah.
King with anticipation, surrounded by an audience.
Yep.
Which is how I would prefer to see that and any other movie. But this was the most practical answer to the fact that I'm not really fully recovered yet from my health issues.
Not fully mobile yet.
Right. Well, I liked him. I liked the
David Corn Sweat.
Yep. He's good.
Mm-hmm.
I liked
Rachel Brosnahan.
She's good.
Nicholas Hoult.
I'm a fan of Nicholas Hoult.
Mm-hmm.
But I found his character obnoxious.
Okay.
And one note.
Okay.
And then it's mean-spirited film to me. I had heard that it was sincere, and it is to the degree that and it's.
Do you see how hard he's working as he's having? Did you like Superman? Did you like Superman?
No.
Yeah. My mother's response when I asked her this morning is, "It was so boring." That's how she felt. It was so boring. So, there you are.
It's my God, the credits for the visual effects at the end.
$300 million.
Well, they hired Weta in New Zealand.
Of course.
And they hired ILM, Industrial Light and Magic.
Yep.
and they hired Frame Store, and they farmed out other stuff. I mean,
$300 million.
it's the story, folks. It's the story.
Which is a shame because that's one of the things that James Gunn does so well. Usually, I think, is that he's a good storyteller. But I guess not in this one for you. I think my husband and I will probably end up watching it the same way, and we'll see what he thinks about it. Because he loves Superman and Batman are his two favorites. Those are his.
And we're at a disadvantage, if you look at it that way, of having just revisited the 1978 Superman, directed by Richard Donner, starring Christopher Reeve in his star-making role.
On my dad's other podcast, they just talked about it, so he just rewatched it. And you guys fell in love again.
We did. It was wonderful. It was wonderful to see.
Yeah.
From the moment you set eyes on Christopher Reeve, you just buy in.
Yeah.
You buy in.
And you didn't feel that as much with David Cornswell?
Not as much. He was good.
Yeah.
An actor I've lost track of, Pruitt Taylor Vince.
We were talking about this a little bit earlier.
Pa
yeah.
Kent.
Yeah.
It's a small role, but he's very good.
Yeah.
He came to my class ages ago with a movie I have to look up to remember what it was. Busy character actor.
Just didn't work for you.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't hate it.
No, I didn't hate it.
It just didn't do anything. Such is life, am I right? No, thank you, computer. I don't want that. What can Leonard tell us about the Buster Keaton show? Several episodes are on a restored Blu-ray due next month. It's part of Keaton's career. It's part of Keaton's career I'm not familiar with.
He enjoyed a flurry of recognition in the early days of live television, doing a half-hour show on local TV here in Los Angeles. And it went so well that they raised the money to do a filmed version. Well, the film version was not the same show as the live show. The film version was, written out, scripted completely, and no live audience. And I find them sort of kind of creepy because he's redoing all of his old routines. They hired Clyde Bruckman, who wrote and in some cases directed Buster at the peak of his career in the 20s. Clyde Bruckman was the king of recycling material. Harold Lloyd actually was forced to sue Clyde Bruckman because he lifted a whole sequence from Harold Lloyd's movie Crazy and reused it without permission.
Retro.
And he killed himself shortly after.
Good Jesus. Yeah. That's dark.
It is dark. With Buster's gun.
Jesus.
Yeah. He borrowed Buster's gun.
True Crime with Leonard Maltin. Yeah. That's horrific.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, so those shows have never appealed to me particularly.
Yeah.
But not for those reasons, but just they're not funny.
Well, I told you, I think we talked about this last week a little bit because I love the beach party movies, and Buster was in some of them, and he's like chasing tail, and it just for me was like, that's not Buster Keaton. Why is that happening? Ryan's asking if the Fleischer Superman shorts are some of your favorite adaptations of the character.
Yes. They drew on not just the comic book and comic strip, but the radio show, which was instantly popular, and which set a lot of the tenets and trademarks. Faster than a speeding bullet, more powerful than a locomotive. And Clayton Collier, later known as Bud Collier, was very well cast as Clark Kent / Superman, based on his voice. And so they did all that, and then they added the visual component. I love in the very first Superman cartoon where he's flying and he's punching these bolts of electrodes being hurled at him. It's really they're well drawn, well animated. You get a sense of real substance. These are not pencil drawings
Yeah.
inked in.
Yeah.
It's a real character facing a real crisis. And whenever I show that to my class at USC, it always plays well.
Yeah.
They're amused by it, and by some of the campiness and corniness of it, but they embrace it too.
Well, yeah, I always say it is whoever. I think the first version of someone that you see becomes your whoever, whether it's Bond or Spider-Man, Superman, Batman. So my dad always says for him that who is his Batman? Who is your Batman?
Well, essentially Adam West.
It's Adam West, because that's the first Batman you got to see and spend time with. So in your head, you see him, which is not to say he's the best. It's just that that's in your head what's there. For me, always with Superman, it's going to be George Reeve. He's perfect. He's handsome. He's charismatic. He's perfect. I can't imagine a different Superman. Though saying that, I thought Henry Cavill was really good. And part of that is because Henry Cavill himself, he's a gentleman. He is, again, like really charismatic, handsome, has all of that, but he's also a comic book nerd. So for him, the idea of playing Superman was a really big deal. It meant a lot to him. And I feel like you feel that when you watch, which again, does not mean I love the performances. But yeah, to me, George Reeve in those episodes are they're just kind of perfect.
Yeah.
He
just,
you know,
it's a perfect marriage of actor and role.
Yeah.
Really is.
Yeah.
He really is. Doesn't seem to be acting.
No.
He is Clark Kent. He is Superman.
Well, especially as a kid, for me watching them as a kid, because to me that it just felt real. What I was presented with. And this is without, they didn't have the kind of special effects that you can pay for now. And I just thought it was great. And that's kind of the thing is, unfortunately, the more tools you have, the more tools you have. And in many cases, as we know, practical effects work pretty damn well.
Yeah.
And I always find, especially in a lot of these superhero movies, that when it is two CG characters fighting, to me, there's no stakes. There's no stakes.
I suffered through the first Transformers movie.
Yeah.
Which builds up to this big battle between this Transformer and that Transformer.
Yeah.
On the streets of.
And then you're watching two Transformers fight.
Yeah.
And it's all CG, and there's nothing. And so that's why I always go back to the same thing, which is that it's like if you watch a Jackie Chan movie, if you watch any of those sorts of things, you get in it. You're in it. And you're gasping and you're impressed.
Yep.
Even look, Tom Cruise, we know he does these stunts in Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Not everything is possible, but a hell of a lot of it is. So when you're seeing him hanging off of a helicopter, you're seeing him hanging off of a helicopter.
Yeah.
And even though there are precautions in place, there's still that your heart is racing because of what you're watching.
Yeah.
And I just don't think there's any replacement for that.
Today's young people, through no fault of their own, have been exposed to so much CGI.
Yeah.
In commercials.
Yeah.
In every form of television entertainment.
Yeah.
That they've become, I think, a bit, maybe more than a bit jaded.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I showed the Republic Pictures serial Zorro's Fighting Legion.
Alan is saying Guy Williams is Zorro forever.
Yes.
Guy Williams will be our Zorro to the day we die.
Yes.
Guy Williams, always.
But Reed Hadley plays him in the Republic serial from 1939 called Zorro's Fighting Legion.
Mm-hmm.
So we finished, I think, chapter 2 or 3, and the last segment had Zorro on the second-story balcony of his girlfriend's hacienda.
Mm-hmm.
And not girlfriend.
Is this the horse jumping on the horse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he jumped down, landed perfectly in the saddle of a majestic white horse, and sped off. And right after that, we went to our weekly break in the class, and a student came over to me and said, "How'd they do that?" And I was really taken aback for a moment. I said, "How'd they do that?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, Republic Pictures had the best stuntmen in the business. Mm-hmm. So one of them was wearing the Zorro outfit, and he, being the expert stuntman that he was, probably made it on the first try, landing perfectly on the horse. And it was a movie-trained horse. Movie-trained horses knew not to move unless given certain commands. They weren't afraid of gunshots and
Mm-hmm.
things like that. And that's how they did it. How they did it is how you saw it. Exactly what you saw is what they exactly did.
Yeah.
And I think he had a hard time wrapping his head around that.
Because it's if you've only ever seen it done CGI, then
Yeah.
it is different. And then of course what's funny is because studios know this, when someone does do something for real, they have to spend all this time doing behind the scenes to show people. It was a big thing with Paul Mescal for Gladiator 2, where they went behind the scenes and showed a lot of his horse training.
Uh-huh.
He learned how, with a horse running, he learned how to jump on top. There's all these little things, but it's like they needed to do that because they wanted you to know that it was real, because they know that otherwise you will just assume that it is fake. And it's funny, but that was a reaction I had when we saw, what's it called? Gal Gadot. Wonder Woman. With the first Wonder Woman movie with Gal Gadot in it, and they showed the sort of the Valkyrie women, and they're doing these ridiculous tricks that are very clearly not real, laying off and shooting off a bow and arrow. You want to go, do you understand that if you were doing any of that for real, how amazing that would look? Like, do you have any idea how cool that would look if you actually had them do this? It doesn't look cool if you have someone do a fake backflip into an arrow shooting into it. That, okay. If it makes you happy, but yeah, to me, it just sort of goes kerplunk.
I read that J.J. Abrams used front projection as opposed to rear projection when he was designing the sets and the look of his Star Wars movie. And I don't know that I really fully understand what front projection is.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, it worked.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but sure, why not? Again, yeah, it's I don't know. I don't want to spend all my time going, I really liked it better before. But to some degree, that is just how it feels sometimes when you're watching movies or TV shows even, and you're having that experience. So you guys have now finished Platonic.
No, we finished season 1.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, so and the season 2 has come out.
Yeah.
So you're okay. Got it.
This is a new territory for me, or renewed territory for me. When I was growing up, I was a TV junkie. And by that, I mean, it was on all the time. Watching cartoons, watching The Little Rascals, watching Laurel and Hardy, watching The Three Stooges, watching cartoons of all kinds and shapes and sizes, and watching a certain generation of half-hour comedies. I Love Lucy, I Married Joan, Topper, My Little Margie, terrible shows, some of them. But lots and lots and lots of shows. The Danny Thomas Show, the Andy Griffith Show, et cetera, et cetera. It was so bad. Monday night on CBS was all sitcoms, which, by the way, we didn't call sitcoms. We called them comedies or situation comedies. We were not yet in the abbreviation business.
Sitcom. If you didn't know, that's what sitcom is. It's a situation comedy.
Right. Like rom-com. Yeah. So the Danny Thomas Show, it wasn't crazy about. It was on from 9 to 9:30, but then followed by the Andy Griffith Show, which I liked a lot. Well, it didn't pay to turn off the TV for a half hour. So all I'd be doing all half hours looking at my watch.
To this day, we know that if there is a TV on, my dad will watch it. So if we're at a restaurant or anywhere, if there is a TV nearby, he will watch it. And so we know we either have to turn it off or we have to have him sit in a different seat because he will watch that TV no matter what happens. But because he has been home more and because he's not watching as many movies, he's watching more TV. So you and Mommy watched Platonic and really, really liked it. And I'm wondering what the timeline is with the studio and this, if they were shooting at the same time, if one of them was held, just because to have Seth Rogen in both and have him be the lead in both, I don't know how you do that, but hey. Jason says, I watched Get Smart reruns on TV Land. I love Get Smart. I think we all, especially all the cool gadgets and stuff, who wouldn't be into that?
It was a very good show with impeccable pedigree. All the people who worked on it, Mel Brooks, Buck Henry, Leonard Stern, came out of radio,
Mm.
vaudeville, Borscht Belt, early live TV. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
They knew what they were doing. Now, anyway. So when I said that was my introduction to television.
Mm-hmm.
Immersion,
Mm-hmm.
total immersion.
Mm-hmm.
Then around the time I started going to college, I got busy. I wasn't home like you are as a school child,
Mm-hmm.
and I drifted away from television.
Mm-hmm.
Just around the time those shows were all coming to an end, so I missed a generation of television. Then I married your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Puts the TV on like a nightlight.
Yeah.
Which I'd never done.
Yep.
And I started, being attracted again more and more. And fast forward very fast, then came COVID.
Then came COVID. The way it used to work was if my mom and I saw a show that we thought was great, then sometimes we'd say, you have to try blah, blah, blah. A big one for us was episodes, because we are an Anglophile house. I'm married to a British man. British humor is my favorite thing, and I love all those actors, those comedians. That is my go-to. Episodes, which was an American show, but starred some really, really great British comedians and writers. It was just fantastic. And my mom and I watched it and said to my dad, we have to show you some of this.
Such a good show.
So there was a lot of that, where if my mom and I found something that we thought he would like, then we'd say, you need to take a minute to watch this. But now it's an interesting sort of a thing, because you're watching sort of willingly. I never imagined you watching The Gilded Age. That's not something I would have on my bingo card.
Well,
but you like it and you're into it.
I'm very much into it. I mean, for instance, I was not looking forward to any individual movie
Mm-hmm.
or series of movies this year so much as I was the new season of The Bear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I had keen anticipation for that. And was very pleased with the season that they just concluded.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I'm almost sorry they're doing another season. It seems like they did tie things up.
Yeah.
But
'tis what it is.
Yeah. And Hacks too.
Yeah.
Did a miraculous season 3. Well, miraculous season 2 would,
No, I'm sorry. No. I thought 3 was okay. I didn't think it was as good. I thought 2 was still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
3 is pushing. Again, though, you get to know the characters. And so at a certain point, what do you do? And this is, to me, where it gets tricky, is how do you keep something interesting when you know the premise, when you know who you're dealing with? How do you then find, I don't know, how do you keep things fresh? And that's also why, when you're watching a show that's been on for years, how do you keep it fresh? If there's a medical show, whatever it is, there's only so much you can do. And that is where some of the things, it's like they're stuck together because they were impaled on top of the Eiffel Tower. And you go, of course they were. Of course, that's what happens. Of course they were. I think all these shows jump the shark, as you would say, but then also if they're popular enough, they want to keep going.
Yeah. No one wants to walk away from a success. Unless you all decide.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
We're done now. Yeah.
As Dick Van Dyke did many, many years ago. They had 5 great seasons, and they were at the peak of popularity.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided, let's just call it a day. And they all had trouble. They all stumbled in their careers.
Yeah.
Because it had been so popular.
Yeah.
And so successful. But Carl Reiner and Dick Van Dyke and Mary Tyler Moore, they all wound up, back on top.
Yeah.
But it took time. It didn't happen instantaneously.
Yeah.
And so it's tough to walk away, as the Seinfeld people will probably tell you.
Yeah. I say it's just tricky. So someone's saying, why do we get tired of shows after 4 or 5 years when we watched MASH and Cheers for 11? Well, again, this is the thing though, is, when characters and a situation become sort of a part of your life, a part of your day,
Right.
Then it becomes comfort food. And there's a number of shows that have that. Golden Girls will always be at the top of that list, right? You watch it and you rewatch it, and it's just because it makes you feel good. And we will talk about, obviously there's comfort movies. There's everything. We all have that. They're just some actors that as soon as we see them, we're happy.
Yeah.
And that's why you will follow whatever they do. But that's, it's true. There are things, when you look at Big Bang Theory, one of the things that it does well is that you don't actually have to know what happened in the prior episode necessarily to know what's going on in the next one. And that's a show that, we've traveled all over the world. It's on anywhere you go, that show is playing. And it's because it's the same thing. It's funny enough. You enjoy it, is it the greatest television ever? No, but it's comfort food. And so I think that we seek that out and we want it. And even with something like The Bear, part of it is because you like these characters, you want to see them do more.
Right.
You want to see where they go. It's what can be so hard when a show gets canceled, is that you want to know what the hell was going to happen next. What were they going to do with these people? And it's hard sometimes never knowing. It's hard sometimes going, well, I guess I will never find out what the plan was here. And it is what it is,
I know a lot of shows go into production with a 5-year Bible.
Yeah.
Of how the story is going to unfold.
Yeah.
Where some characters are going to wind up.
Yeah.
And others don't.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's reality TV, because it's such a conversation now. I find it really interesting with the various social media platforms. So something like TikTok, there's a show called Below Deck that's been on for years. It's on Bravo. Most Bravo reality shows are absolutely ridiculous. It's a part of what makes them them. They're absolutely ridiculous. This show Below Deck follows people who work on really expensive yachts, really high end, like $200,000 for a weekend trip kind of a thing. And what's fun about it is you have these people, these worker bees, who are killing themselves for people who are like, whatever you do, do not stop pouring me martinis in the middle of God knows where, because the world will end. And so it's silly. It's ridiculous. It's silly. You enjoy it. Well, because it's been on for so many seasons and there's so many different versions of it now, people are starting to, and on TikTok, you have these people where their whole thing is to talk about the TV shows that are on. They're all saying the same thing, which is, what the hell is going on? Because this season has gotten so absurd with what's happening. And it's like, yeah, because producers feel you have to create drama. They don't understand that sometimes if you just sit, it's funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing with a show.
So spending quality time with characters you care about.
Yeah.
With actors who become so familiar to you.
And in this, again, even reality, it's with characters you like. The chief stew right now is a guy named Fraser. I like him. I'll just watch what he does. I enjoy it, and that's where you get into so many issues with TV shows, with films, whatever. It's almost like they don't trust it. If it's scripted, if you trust your script and you trust your people, you shouldn't have to do 8,000 other things. There shouldn't have to be a bunch of cuts, a bunch of all of this. It should just be good. How do we know that? Because we go and we see plays and musicals, and you sit there for 2 hours, with an intermission or whatever it is. And you can sit there because if it's interesting and good enough, you do not need a bunch of other things happening. People in movie theaters who take out their phones, and you kind of go, all right, well, either you require a second device because one is just not enough at this point, because you're just so used to it, or this is not holding your attention. It's one or the other.
About an hour into Superman last night, I heard your mother picking up the newspaper.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Picking up the LA Times.
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign.
Not a good sign. If my mother was a meme, it would be her doing something else while a movie's on. to this day, one of my favorite phone calls ever was, I don't know if it was Cars 1 or 2 that you guys were up.
It was 2.
Okay.
Or was it 3?
No, I think it was
2.
2. They actually went up to Pixar. My parents went up.
They had a fundraising screening.
Yep.
One of John Lasseter's children has juvenile diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were doing a fundraiser for that cause. And
they went up, and my mother calls me, and I was like, hello? She's like, hi, just wanted to check in. I said, are you okay? Are you all right? Yeah, I'm just sitting in the lobby. Well, why? Because this movie's really loud and obnoxious, and I hate it. She just didn't want to sit there anymore. So she went out to the lobby.
Yep.
It's one of my favorite moments. Alice Maltin is a wise woman, and she knows her time is valuable. And when she does not want to watch something anymore, she leaves. And I respect that.
Yeah.
I respect that. I do.
A word about somebody else who passed away. We got 5 Emmy nominations for directing ER.
Mm-hmm. Which someone just brought up ER.
Yes, which the period you were most attached to the show, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jonathan Kaplan.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the brief history. Roger Corman, of course, king of grindhouse movies, not B movies. Well,
yeah, no. Q
anyway,
movies. Q.
It's when he was making films for a company called New World Pictures, which he owned and ran. And he hired, on a heavy recommendation, a young guy named Marty Scorsese to make a film called Boxcar Bertha, starring Barbara Hershey. And Marty did a good job. And Roger said, I want you to make my next film. And Scorsese said, no, I want to go back to New York and do something of my own, which he did. He went back to New York and he worked on Woodstock.
I was going to say, and then no one ever heard from him ever again.
Right. As he says about his time up in Woodstock, he was the only one wearing slacks. But he said to Roger Corman, why don't you hire this really smart student of mine, Jonathan Kaplan? And the story goes that Jonathan picked up the phone in his Lower East Side apartment. And it was Roger Corman who said, Marty Scorsese speaks very highly of you. So I want you to direct my next film, Truck Turner. We begin shooting Monday morning. I've got you booked on a flight from JFK tomorrow. Come out, we'll get you up to speed. So that happened. And then as soon as Johnson felt settled, he said, you got to bring out my friend John Davison.
And so on.
John came out.
And so on.
And became sort of the office manager, straw boss in the world. And then when John felt comfortable, he brought out Joe Dante, who cut trailers.
Yep.
That was his primary job.
When did Alan come out?
Alan
was next. Yeah. There you go.
And
Alan Arkish was next.
So Joe and Alan co-directed Rock and Roll High School, and they all collaborated on Hollywood Boulevard.
Craig is saying Woodstock was before Boxcar Bertha. He went to LA to shoot Mean Streets.
Thank you. Time frame.
It's all in there somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah. But
anyway, but Jonathan just passed away.
Yeah.
At age 77, and he directed Jodie Foster in The Accused, which won her an Oscar, and directed another Best Actress performance, which I now have forgotten, but someone
will know. No, it's a loss, and he worked for a very, very, very long time. Someone was just mentioning that they can't watch ER, the episode where Dr. Green dies. That is Anthony Edwards. And it was a very, very big deal when he died. And I'll tell you, it's funny because my friend Andrew has just logged into Instagram with us, but one of our oldest friends, Holly Hirsch, played Dr. Green's daughter. So on top of my heart breaking because he was dying on the show, I then had to watch Holly watch him die on the show. So it really messed with my reality. And you struggle. But again, the whole point is that you know these people for years. I watched ER religiously for years. So when anything happened with any of them, my heart, it meant, you were sad in a way you didn't even know you could be sad. Similarly, there's certain shows that don't last as long, but look, part of why the internet is that we do look for other people to talk to about the things we love, right? You could find, and especially early on when things were not as chaotic, you'd find a chat room or a chat group and you talk about a show or a movie or an album or whatever it is. And now it's easier to find, but you also deal with more chaos. But my mom and I watched a lot of the same shows, and it would be really, really hard if she would fall behind or I would fall behind because we needed to talk to each other about what we'd seen. And I didn't have the internet to turn to at the time. And I think about it and I go, that's how these things got so big, is because when you're watching something, you want to talk to somebody about it. You want to have this conversation. And I will never forget The Big C, which was a wonderful show for a long time, starring Laura Linney, one of the greatest actresses in the world. And there is a season at the end of one of the seasons. I'd say spoiler alert, it's years ago, but her husband dies and you don't see it coming. It is a complete, Oliver Platt dies. And I love Oliver Platt, so that's upsetting on its own. He dies. And it's like 1:00 in the morning, and I go downstairs and my mom's still awake because she and I are night owls. And I go and I'm crying and she's like, "What's wrong?" Thinking something real. And I go, "It is episode C word and the big C. And I can't." And I'm like sobbing hysterically. I'm like, "I just need you to watch it so we can talk about it." And she said, what is going on? I said, "No, I don't want to spoil it for you. I just need to talk to someone." I was a mess. And the next day she watched it. And then we were a mess together. But as I say, that is what, as they say, that's why Comic-Cons and all the rest exist. That's because we want to talk to somebody about these things.
Community. We all want to be part of the community.
You fall in love with a character, you fall in love with something, and you need somebody to express that. And yeah, so that's the only good part of the internet, I think, is that you can still find people who like what you like here.
Do you remember the young woman who attended that screening from the TCM Film Festival of Seven Brides for Seven Brothers, who asked Jane Powell from the audience about living her life like Millie and Millie's values and all that? And Jane Powell, could see her kind of glazing over because she had a real life. Yeah. Not like the life she portrayed in this motion picture shot 45 years ago. That was
more than 45.
Well, yes.
More than 45.
I didn't stop to do the math.
I know. I'm just saying. But yeah, it's And again, that's where fandoms become crazy. Everything has the good and the bad in the balance, right? It just does.
Everything in moderation.
Including moderation. Yeah. But yes, that's a moment I will never forget. Poor mommy thinking that something terrible had happened. And it was just that someone died on this TV show we both loved. And it was very upsetting. Victoria says, "I'm addicted to Gilded Age Facebook groups." That's what I mean, though. They do exist and it is useful. I feel sometimes I'll go on to TikTok or I'll go on to Twitter and I'll just look to see, I'm watching a show and I just need to see if anybody else is feeling like I'm feeling. And nothing is better than when someone goes, "That guy's a dick." And you're like, yes, he is. I'm so glad you see that too. That's why we like going to the movies when the movies are not insane, because you want to sit and laugh with everybody or cry with everybody. It's the whole point. You have books in your hands.
Well, yeah. A book published by its author, Costa Botes, who worked in collaboration with Peter Jackson on a documentary called Forgotten Silver. If you don't know what Forgotten Silver is, I commend it to your attention. But I don't know if it's streamable.
No, we've tried before and we haven't. I love. The only downside of this, of course, is that it does say hoax and fooled and all that. Yes, and I wish people would just watch it without knowing. But such is life. And the movie has been around a very, very long time. So I can't fault them for it.
it's one of my proudest moments.
Yeah.
Being in that film.
Hell yeah.
And this is a book by a guy I've known a long time, Bill Croyer, who is an experienced animation guy who's been a producer, director, animator, and a lot of other things in between, which is why he called this book Mr. In Between. And I gave them a promotional quote, a blurb as they call it, for this book. He directed Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest, a film that you love.
I do love that movie.
Yeah.
I do love Fern Gully.
With a wonderful performance by Robin Williams.
Which is not a hard thing to come by.
No, exactly. And when everyone was going nutty, and rightly so for his work in Aladdin, I kept saying, but there's another animated film.
You got to watch this, though.
Really
it's so good.
Yeah.
There's another one, though, where it's very much, depending on your age, you've either never heard of it or you love it.
Yeah.
Anybody around my age, when you say Fern Gully, it's just like a light goes on and everyone goes, oh my God, Fern Gully. Because I love it. I love it. It's so good. It's love his Hard Woman music video, even though Jagger kind of wailed. Well, yes. As I say, it is amazing, the community aspect of things. It's why I hope we get to do another Maltin Fest. I really hope that can happen again one day, because I loved it so much. And it was really neat to put everybody in one place and show them stuff that we love. Because that's the whole point of everything, isn't it? Is to share with everyone, and celebrate things all together.
Yeah.
That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it entertaining. Otherwise, like we all, you can go to the movies by yourself. You can watch stuff at home by yourself. There's, you can do all of that, but there is just something about being with other people who love what you love.
Yep.
Thank you. Stephanie says, I imprinted on Fern Gully. Seriously, man. It was a very big deal. I have these this is going to sound very silly. I have these Fern Gully leggings and they're too big and I just don't know what to do with them, because I'm never throwing them away, because I'm never going to find Fern Gully leggings again. And so I just hold them like a hoarding issue, where I was like, but I'll never see them again. And I love them so much. They're the best. Any news on the John Candy documentary? Wasn't Colin Hanks doing something? I don't know. My friend Josh is the type who knows all of those things. And I will ask him, because he's the one, if anybody's going to know, it will be Josh. I don't know. God, as I say, depending on what age you are, John Candy is such a significant part of our lives. And it's very strange to think about how long he's been gone, because it is such a long time now.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, it's how I feel even when stuff about Chris Farley comes up. And I always think Chris Farley was so special. And it breaks my heart to think he's been gone as long as he has. Yeah. Because I really think he could have done so much. I
think the film that lives on for John Candy is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yeah.
People have a deep affection for that film.
Yeah.
Deeper than mine.
But again, if you're my age, it's Cool Runnings.
Oh, it's a wonderful movie.
Among other things, of course. There's a lot of other stuff. But Cool Runnings is depending on your age, is a movie that you love so much, and he's so good in it. Nick says, Candy loved working with the Muppets. I'm sure. The John Candy documentary is being shown at this year's TIFF. Okay. We can internet it.
That is Toronto International Film Festival.
We can interwebs it. Let's see. John Candy documentary. Well, that's not right, is it, guys? John Candy, I Like Me is an American documentary film directed by Colin Hanks and slated for release in 2025. Produced by Colin Hanks and Ryan Reynolds and a couple of other people.
Okay.
And yeah, its release date is TIFF. Is at Toronto on September 4th. Well, there you go. The internet and our friends here know things. Good job, everybody.
Larry, I'm so glad you watched My Mother Jane, Mariska Hargitay's documentary, very personal documentary about getting the facts, getting to know the mother she never really knew. She was 3 years old.
Talk about emotional.
When her mother died in that horrible
That was a fantastic documentary.
Yeah.
And she's very brave for putting herself out there the way that she chose
Yes.
to, and showing her mother for the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Showing her mother for the positive and the negative, because everybody is both. Though I do joke and have since I was a kid that someday I'm going to write a tell-all pamphlet about my dad. And it's basically going to be stuff like he steals cookies, after COVID, he doesn't like wearing pants. There's really not a lot to work with, but I got to try. Right. Thank
And
you.
best of luck to you.
Mish is saying, I wish movie critics today were like you, Mr. Maltin. That's very
Well,
kind.
that's a lovely thing to say.
I
Thank
agree
you.
with you.
Thank you.
I think one of the things my dad does best is he really will try to find the positive. And you don't want to just slate something top to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
That's not your nature.
No.
You don't want to hate a movie. You don't want to dislike a movie. In large part, you don't want to waste your time.
No.
Who wants to go see a bad movie? You want a movie to be good. And then after the fact, you want, you want everybody to succeed. So
I'm not gunning for anybody. I'm not
No.
gunning for any movies. So, in spite of what a couple of people
whatever. Pants or trousers? Well, Lottie, if you're in the UK, he does wear his pants. Fear not. Pants are on. Trousers, yes, or jeans even. Look, a lot of people after COVID, clothes are hard. And then again, we live with a toddler who's just always naked because she doesn't want to wear clothes. All right, my friend. Speaking of which, I must now go back to the crazy toddler. Alice is not screaming yet, so that's promising.
That's a hopeful sign.
Right. We will be with you next week. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we'll be with you next week. So we'll see you next week. Everybody, please take good care of yourselves. We'll talk to you very soon.
I hope to have seen movies.
Yes.
To talk about next week also.
Yes.
Which will help.
Yes. Say goodnight.
Good night.
And then
Be kind.
there it is.